right, welcome back to the channel. We got another new face on the channel. We usually see rappers on here. I think we had one athlete before, but today we got another one. Can you tell me your name?
Eron Gordon.
We got Eron Gordon. Eron Gordon, man, I appreciate you sitting down with me today, man. We got a lot to talk about. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Glad to be on here.
Good, good. So look, we're gonna start off with asking about where you're from and getting a little bit of history on your background. So, where are you from?
So from the north side of Indianapolis, born and raised there all the way up until college. So, just grew up there, went to Westland Middle School, North Central High School, and Cathedral High School.
So, what was it like growing up in that north side?
Yeah, so obviously the north side is basketball heaven. I mean, that's all we do on the north
Mm-hmm.
side of Indianapolis, really everywhere in Indianapolis, but just on the north side, you just have a lot of prominent basketball heads, just a lot of people that just, love the game. So for me, I just grew up just idolizing the game, going to high school games, meeting a lot of people and, going to really a diverse area. I think people have to understand that, like, North side of
Mm-hmm.
Indianapolis is very diverse. There's a lot of white people, a lot of black people, a lot of Hispanic people, even an Asian communities, now starting to get there too on the north side. So, north side is a extremely diverse area.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so you know, I'm gonna just jump right into this point. There's interviews about you, your brother Eric Gordon in the
Yep.
NBA. So you said, growing up in that area, I just want to get this question out the way real quick. Growing up and knowing, seeing him go through this NBA success. We'll get into the NBA. I'll say,
Mhm.
what was that like for you growing up? Because I know you guys have a big gap in age, right? The difference.
Yeah. He's 9 years older. Honestly, for me, I don't really know any different. He's my
Mm-hmm.
big brother, and just like other people's big brother, like you don't really know our life, truly without that. So it just
Mm-hmm.
kind of just became second nature to me. He's, when we're around each other, we don't necessarily always just talk about basketball. He's a
Mm-hmm.
big brother, gives me a lot of life advice. Just like everybody else. So he's definitely a really good role model, and that's kind of where I stand with him.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, man. I know, like you get asked questions about him a lot in all your interviews. I'm sure.
Mhm.
I'm sure. But you have other siblings?
Yeah, Evan Gordon. Evan played at Indiana. He played at Arizona State as well, and he last played in the CBA. So, he has a really high basketball pedigree
Hmm.
too as well.
Okay. And what's his the age difference between you, and are you older or younger?
Nah, he's older. He's 6 years older than I am. So three
Okay,
years
6 years.
younger than Eric and 6 years older than me.
Okay, and you're the youngest brother, so that's all you got. Okay.
Yep, it's us three.
Okay. So did your parents grow up playing any sports, or did they become athletes or anything?
Yeah, well, my dad at the time was a second leading scorer at Liberty University. He played basketball all throughout, his high school days. He was an Indiana All Star too as well.
Hmm.
My mom did not play sports. She's actually from Nassau, Bahamas. So she met my dad when they were in college. So all the basketball genes definitely got from my dad.
Okay. Okay. So you know, what you play basketball too.
Hmm.
So what kind of inspired you to get going with basketball?
Like I said, I mean, it's really all I know. Just started once I was three. I mean, all me, Eric, and Evan, we all started playing basketball as soon as we could. 2, 3 years old. So
Hmm.
I've been playing basketball all my life, and just kind of just wanted to just continue to, just continue the legacy. I mean, I absolutely love basketball. I love other things too as well, but basketball is always going to be my first true love. Just the way how the game is played. I love watching it, teaching
Hmm.
it, talking about it, talk about different scenarios in the game, and that's just
Hmm.
kind of, some things that have just stuck with me.
And you grew up watching it. You, like you said, learning everything about it. So when you get to high school, you played high school basketball. And what were those teams? I mean, schools. I say.
Yeah, I played at North Central and I played at Cathedral.
Okay, which one was first? Where'd you go
I
first?
went to North Central first.
What was the change for? Like, what'd you end up
Just
switching?
No, I just wanted kind of a new environment. Just I've always really wanted to go to Cathedral, and I just felt like it was a great opportunity for me to switch, halfway through and get a
Mm.
different experience.
So I seen a YouTube video um about your freshman debut. Who
Mhm.
was y'all? Who was y'all? Was it Pike that I seen
It
y'all
was
playing?
like, yep.
And you dropped 31, right?
I had 31 my very first high school game.
Man, so what was that like? Were you nervous? I mean, I'm sure you probably was.
Well, that's the thing. Like for me, I don't necessarily get nervous, especially since I put in a lot of work. I was more anxious. Like I want the game to happen, really fast, and
Mm-hmm.
it did. And high school basketball was, what I expected it to be from tip to the last buzzer as it sounds. So for me, I just really want my high school journey to start because I had grown up, watching high school games even
Yeah.
before Eric was even in high school. So I remember going to games when I was, 5 years old, 4 years old. And, at that point, when you're 14 years old and you are starting your first high school game, it was like a dream. So I just
Mm-hmm.
kind of just wanted it to happen. I really wasn't as nervous. I was just really prepared. So I think that's the reason why I got the result that I was. I just kind of just wanted it to happen and had just been preparing for it so much.
So was the rest of your season for that year, your freshman year, what was that like? Was that a good year for you?
Yeah, that was a good year. I mean, I'll be honest. I feel like I was one of the very few people that was able to have a good year all 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I didn't have any injuries. I played well, averaged 20 points every single season. So I'm except for 1 year, my sophomore year, but I still feel like every single year was an extremely good year for me. And I've had one of those really stellar high school careers.
Yeah. Okay. So what about the attention in school? Like school,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you was
So
the popular guy, right?
yeah, I definitely was. Interesting enough, I started getting recruited, in middle school, and
Mm-hmm.
my middle school team we didn't lose a game. And I'll be honest, my experience in middle school was really extremely unique because I don't think anyone had a middle school experience like me. I think that there's
Yeah.
a couple of players that obviously in Indiana, there's quite a few players who have, had a career, like me,
Mm-hmm.
that have, been Indian All Stars, people that we know. But I think in middle school, I think that's kind of what sets my career apart. Just being able to have like a group of friends,
Yeah.
to go undefeated for 2 years and to get recruited while I was in middle school. I don't think you can write a better script than that.
Right, man. I kind of remember a lot about the middle school years for you.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah,
middle school
yeah. That
years,
that was.
yeah, it was really unique because I was the number one player in the country as
Mm-hmm.
an eighth grader. So the attention was definitely there. It was really fun, and I really enjoyed the entire process.
Yeah. So what's with this the number 10? I know you wear it, your brother Eric wears it. What about Evan?
Yeah, Ebony wears it too. So it's a family thing. So we all do it for the Ten Commandments.
Okay.
We always really wanted to, just represent God with everything that we do. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that we could all do. And I mean, it's not a very popular number.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like 10 is. I mean, it's still a low number, but it's not like 1 or 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like a popular guard number. So normally, most teams that we go to, we could probably get it. So it was a
Yeah.
good number to go with.
Okay. So I always wanted to know the background because I know both of y'all wore it for
Yeah.
sure. So you went to play on at college, Seton Hall
Yeah, I played at
first.
Seton Hall first, and I played at Valparaiso. So I played at Seton Hall for 2 seasons, and I played at
Mhm.
Valparaiso for 4.
So what was the what happened with that? What made you transfer?
Oh man, Seton Hall. I mean, obviously, is really far away. And at the time, after my sophomore year, I
Hmm.
was really close with that graduating class, and I mean, 7 guys had graduated, and both the assistant coaches that were recruiting me had left. One had retired, and one obviously Sheen Alway. What's so surprising is he's back at Seton Hall as their head coach, but he had left to go coach at St. Peter's.
Hmm.
I kind of when they all had left, and I noticed that I was kind of the only one there with 2 or 3 other guys that were from around there. It kind of felt a little off and weird, and with all those teams that were back home, like the Butlers and the IU, the Purdue's, the
Hmm.
Valpo, Indiana States. I'm like, I kind of want to be back home.
Hmm. So you kind of answered that question a little bit as far as what I was going to ask you next, and well, I guess answer the question I'm going to ask you next. And that's what was your toughest challenges in college?
Yeah, I think the toughest challenges in college were definitely, not seeing my scoring numbers really high. Obviously the college game is very different, especially than what you're used to seeing like in the pro game or in the high school game, especially in the top conferences. You watch a lot of games now in college. I mean, the score is going to be, 48 to 52. So, that's going to leave a lot of points on the board, versus when you're watching an NBA game, it's 120, or you're watching a high school game, teams are scoring 82 points. So, seeing your scoring numbers dip is pretty tough as someone who's scored the ball well, all throughout his life.
Yeah.
And another thing is just I would say that was really the only tough thing. And then I would say, just being ready every single night. That's not something that I personally struggle with, more like the scoring was, but just being prepared every night. I think that's a tough challenge for everybody, because when you play in the conference like a Missouri Valley or in the Big East, I mean, you're playing against a lot of guys who are going to be NBA players eventually, or top level, overseas players or G League players. So it's a tough go around every night.
Okay. So next, you played college, Valpo last, and you ended up declaring for the draft. And you went undrafted, but you're on the Vipers, right?
Yep, I'm on the G League Vipers.
The Vipers. Okay. So I have like, is it really like 2K? Like the way,
yeah,
the whole process.
Yeah, so obviously with when you look at the 2K scenario, like this year we've had about 5 or 6 call-ups. One guy had left, for a different organization, went to the 76ers. It happens like that. This year's been a little bit tougher than other years because COVID wasn't quite as bad, but normally guys are getting called up all the time. Normally 70% of a roster gets called up at some point. It hasn't been quite as much this year. It's looking more like 40% of a roster, 45. But on any given year now with the G League, half the roster is going to get called up. So, the people don't really know this, but the G League is, truly made for the NBA in the aspect of there's only a certain amount of roster spots. There's only a certain amount of minutes that can go around, but there's a lot of NBA players.
Right.
Like, and I think that's the reason why the G League has capitalized off of it so well, is because there's so many, top level guys that could play in the NBA that just don't have the opportunity to, because, management or just the time, or, the money, or whatever the case may be, they're not able to give out all those roster spots. So when you're limited and you have about 18, 19 guys on a roster that you really like, sometimes it could be really hard to limit it down to, 12 or 11 guys.
Okay. Yeah. See, so what about like the whole process, your journey? Like when you started here, let me see, like, okay. I mean, I'll say like when you started, I guess the pre-draft workouts. Let's start there. What was that journey like for you?